Here again, I'm not quite sure what day this is. I believe day 2, day 3. Either way, doesn't matter. Shh. Doesn't matter. We're doing it. Fuck. What a fucking week. I just found out one of my friend's mom's got into a really bad accident, but she's doing okay. Another friend, her best friend, committed suicide. Another of her friends is going to prison. The shit that me and my future wife are going through right now. Yeah, it just seems like all of 2020, right? This year, 2020 of COVID, of uncertainty, of chaos, of what seems like the fabric of social reality coming apart, of our government, the lackluster responses to the pandemic. Fuck, it just feels like it's still 2020. It's not over yet. It's like they still got a little more punches they got 2020 and life has to throw at us. But hey, it is what it is. It's how we respond to it, right? It's how we respond to these challenges, to these things that happen to us. That's where the meaning is. I'm looking up, I don't know if you can see it, but all the way up there is the moon. And it's shining. It's not full, it's not a full moon, but it's shining. It's doing its thing. Despite everything that's going on. Lots of poets write odes to the moon. Like the moon is probably the number one muse of every single poet that I know. Like I don't think I know, out of the poets that I know and the poets that I read, I think every single one of us has at least attempted to write a poem, all of it about the moon. As always, I know I have, some of my friends have. It's just funny to think about that. The moon is such a muse, such a object, an object of beauty to reflect on, to sit there and ponder all of life. You can kind of see it now. Like a mirror almost, to reflect what's going on in our minds, our subconscious, whatever you want to call it. And it's funny because I don't know if people are familiar with the CoStar app, but it's something I got into just because I think it's pretty fun. But I only got into it because the professor that I have, math professor, again, super logical, very scientifically minded dude. I'm not saying he believes in it, but he thinks there's something to it. As for me, I mean, I always thought astrology was a bunch of bullshit. It's like fake science, pseudoscience. Not saying it isn't, not saying it is, but he recommended it, try it out. The interesting thing, surprised how many females know about it. They can tell you all the astrological signs, the personality quirks of each, yada yada yada. One of the interesting things that I think about it is that there's apparently like 3 different signs. There's your main one, which is the sun. It's the one that's ever present in your personality. Then there's the other one, which is considered the moon. I forget exactly what they call it, but your moon sign is supposed to reflect or represent what you see yourself as. When you're alone, when you're quiet, when it's just you and you're very comfortable, it's supposed to represent the sign that you most identify with. And thinking about how lots of poets and lots of other artists have contemplated the moon, thought about their lives. Maybe all these poets and all these artists who have created odes to the moon, who really reflecting, we use it as a kind of reflection of ourselves, as a way to figure out and try to unmask all the distortions that we have of ourselves and what's important. Shh. Stop. He's pulling. Shh. No. Shh. Shh. All the reflections of ourselves to get a real accurate representation of how we view ourselves, because the relationship of how we view ourselves could be very, very, very different with how others view us. And again, the perception others have of us is always distorted by the relationship they have with themselves and then how they view the world. So when they see you in it, you kind of have to fit that little mold of their reality. You got to fit that little space where they allow you to be what you are. And again, look, goddamn, just look at this moon, y'all. Look at this. Look how beautiful that is. So just thinking about that and thinking about astrology and this CoStar app, it's interesting, it's fascinating. Some of it's stuff is repetitive, but again, I was just thinking about the moon, thinking about how many poems I've written about the moon, usually in times of trying to figure out what's going on with me, what's important, what my priorities are, where I'm at, where my mind's at. I thought it was interesting that the CoStar app has your moon sign, which is a reflection of how you see yourself and your subconscious when you're most comfortable, when you're very relaxed. It's like an honest representation of how you see yourself as. So anyways, that stuff is interesting. It's interesting because, see if I can remember the name of that documentary. It deals with, I don't want to call it a 9/11 conspiracy theory documentary, but they talked about the myth of Jesus and how the myth of Jesus is really it's a story, it's an astrological story. It's a story of the constellations. And you okay, Finn? Finn? And how they represent these different, how the constellations represent these different myths or these different ages. And all it is Christ is considered, I think it's the age of Pisces, which is why he's represented with the fish. It wasn't an actual man, it was just the story of that age, the age of Pisces, where these certain belief systems of the world and these certain ways of being he represented were, I want to say it's the end of it, I guess. Maybe, again, I have no idea. This is all just stuff that I'm just starting to like look into, just because, again, I think it's interesting. And two, man, does it make for some really good inspiration for writing poems. Like one of the last poems I wrote called Age of Aquarius, because I am a Aquarius. And it reminds me of that silly ass song that I've heard in the movie, The 40-Year-Old Virgin. And I just thought of the song and the title really. So the age of from what I understand, the age of Aquarius represents this new time cycle where certain energies of the earth, certain energies of human beings are kind of like becoming unlocked. I'm gonna have to look into exactly what all that means, but it's just interesting because to think of how the planets may or may not affect or impact kind of like the personalities of human beings. What exactly is a personality, right? Personality is like this, it's like this set of behaviors that influence how people perceive you, how they kind of most closely identify you as. So when, and I'm sure y'all do this because I know I do this, if I think about some of my coworkers or some of my friends or some of my family members, and I, in my mind, imagine how they would be if we were out here hiking and they saw me doing this, I would predict or imagine different simulations, different possibilities of how they would react to what I'm doing based on what I think I understand of their personality, of them, based on how I think they will view me and what I'm doing. And it's just fascinating because you think about all these personalities, different kinds of personalities. You think about the astrological signs and how each one's supposed to match these certain things. Some of this shit is pretty accurate. My baby mama's Pisces, and one of the things that a Pisces is considered to be like the personality quirk that's most identified with a Pisces is them wanting to dissolve into everything. And because they have this tendency to want to dissolve and melt into anything, right? Both positive aspects of it and negative aspects of it. Positive would be being super in the moment, becoming almost like a transcendental experience where they're just one with everything because they dissolved into nature, they dissolved into music, dance, eating, a conversation, like whatever it is, they've dissolved into it. The negative aspect, we dissolve into something, into like oblivion, into something that's not, something that doesn't feel good. And one of the things they also talk about for Pisces is that they have trouble setting boundaries and setting limits and limitations because they have a tendency to want to just go into everything and feel everything. And for me, I'm an Aquarius, so apparently I'm super meta, which kind of makes a lot of sense because I never thought of myself as that way until I had an ex of mine call me that. That's where this name 2 Meta comes from. And I just thought it was super funny, so I decided to keep the name. But reading the quirks of my personality, it's super, very abstracted, very sometimes goes beyond like practical physical reality, that I may come off as pretentious. I may come off as like kind of detached in my in my ways of being. And now as I'm hearing myself talk, I'm like, oh shit, that does sound like me. That does sound like someone who's in Aquarius. Anyways, I want to come out here, do a quick video just so I can get this momentum going, because one of the things too that I'm starting to realize is that it's getting harder, in other words, to find the motivation to come out here and do these videos, because I always think, fuck, I want to do a good job, I want to do this, I want to do that, but honestly I just want to get out here and actually do them. Fuck everything else, I can learn all that as I go, but I just want to build up the momentum and the motivation to go ahead and do it. That way I don't have to rely on motivation, I don't have to rely on anything, but I already got that momentum going, and I'm going, and I'm going, and I'm going, and I'm going. So that's where I'm at. And the same thing with writing too. I find that if I take a day off for 2 days or 3 days, it's hard to get back into that space where I can start creating, where I can just let the poems come out of me. And I'm starting to think that that's a lot to do with a whole lot of things, is that finding that motivation. I think that may be looking at it in the wrong way. And not wrong is that it can't work. It's just motivation's limited. It's like kindling for a fire. It's like throwing gas on a fire. You'll do it, it'll erupt and it can catch. But if it doesn't catch, or there's nothing to sustain it, if you're building a fire, if there's not a support system of wood, support system of wood to sustain that fire and to keep it going, the big logs, right? That fire ain't gonna last very long. That motivation's not gonna last very long. So one of the things that I'm trying to just consciously build for myself and for my lifestyle is not rely on that motivation, not rely on that to get me going. Instead, building little fires. So that way I have all of these little tiny fires, and once I, like, day by day, I start doing it, it just becomes this big, giant, raging wildfire to accomplish the things that I want to accomplish. Again, I'm trying to start up a clothing company. I'm still working with a graphic designer. It's one of the things that I want to get done. I want to get my poetry chapbook published. I'm currently working on that right now. That's my main writing project, is to create a collection of poems that kind of introduce my voice as a poet to the rest of the world. And again, that's just an introduction. There's so many other writing things that I want to do. that to just think about it and to think about how am I going to get good enough to be able to do all this is just like, fuck, I can barely even find time to come out here and record this video. And here I am thinking about all these other grand things that I want to accomplish. Just like one step at a time, one little fire at a time. Again, building it up. And another thing too is the people around me, man. These people around me, that's the most important thing. I have such a beautiful collection of poets that I'm working with. I'm gonna try to today see if anyone's interested in doing like a writing Zoom where we just get together for like 45 minutes to an hour, bullshit, talk a little bit, and then work on writing or whatever prompts. Maybe I can even bring a prompt if people are up for it, just to get to know them a little bit more and a little bit deeper, because I know most of them want to connect just like I do, but no one's stepping up. So with all things, there's I can feel this need, I can feel the energy of what's needed, but no one's stepping up. And one of the things that I think I'm very grateful that I've had early on in my life is I've been forced into leadership roles. I've been forced to be held accountable for the actions of others. I've been forced to take charge of things. And I think for this one, this is what I'm gonna end up doing. Stop. I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna try to set this up, this writing Zoom, get everything going. And what's kind of odd about our little group, there's not really anyone who's in charge of it. And I think that's a beautiful thing. It's more decentralized, and I love that. I love that there's no hierarchy of anything in this. It's just us together, hanging out, getting to know each other. But now I want to kind of like push this a little more. I want to find out who are the ones that are really serious about this writing thing. Who are the ones that are going to be consistent with it? Again, no one's going to be there 100% of the time. It's life. But which are the ones that are the most consistent? Which are the ones that are building those little fires? Which ones are the ones that are getting in there and putting in the work? That way I can see where they're at. That way my relationship to them changes. That way I know, okay, so this person's good at this person's good at this. I can try to just get a bigger picture and understanding of seeing where their strengths, the strength of these poets are. And I might be going to Berkeley sooner than I imagined. So I want to have a good, thorough understanding of where they're at, so that way I can see where we can take this group. Because one of the most beautiful things, I was talking to my poetry sister, and she was just telling me how she was just sending me, this is the beautiful thing about life. When I've been down, she's just somehow known that or felt it. She told me last time that she had a dream about me, and she just wanted to send out her gratitude and just send out if I, her offering of help. If I ever need anything, I can reach out to her. And I thought that was really beautiful, because I have a couple friends like this who are like that, who have that kind of energy when they know someone needs a little extra help, motivation, or just to let them know, hey, I care about you. I'm grateful just to know you, and I'm excited to see where this relationship is going to develop into, and to see your professional career, artistic as dreams, how they're going to evolve and grow. Like, to have a person like that on your side is a fucking beautiful thing. So I have her, and she had just sent me a simple text, but it meant so fucking much to me. And I just got thinking, I was like, fuck, I can't wait to have the chance to physically meet these people, and her in particular, because I've always felt this like spiritual connection with her, and I don't know why. I didn't understand it when I first met her, but I knew there was something about her that I'm just like, fuck, I don't know what it is, but I'm supposed to know this person. I'm supposed to get to know and develop a relationship with this person. And just I can already picture us all hanging out, our family and friends there, and we're all having this fucking giant event. Open mic. Hey, everyone was just fucking sharing their poems. We're fucking hyping each other up. We're just having such a great time. And that just being part of our life, like, that is just something that we do. Like, that's amazing. Again, I can't do that on my own. I'm not that talented. I'm not that skilled at any of this shit. So this is why I want to, again, this is my little fire to try to see who's more serious about this writing thing, so that we can at least hold each other accountable every single week, have writing Zoom meetings. Again, hopefully If I am able to move up to Berkeley, finish my schooling there, I can hang out. This can be a group of people that I can lean into, and they can lean into me, and we can just hold each other accountable and just get this fire, this creative, artistic fire growing and growing and growing. We've already added 5 new members to this group, which everyone's really excited about. And again, it's just our little group is getting bigger, and everyone here has a purpose. Each one of them means a lot to me. The fact that they're just part of this group, that they take their time just to check in with everybody. But now I want to take it to the next level. Now I want to take it to see, again, who's serious, who's going to hang back a bit. It doesn't matter what it is, but I just want to see who's serious. And as you can see, it's incredibly dark out here. Even though it's not that dark with my eyes, this camera can't really capture everything that's going on. So I'm going to end it with that. I'm going to end it. Stop. 2020, it's been a fucking crazy year. It's still not over yet. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful again. Sometimes it's okay to be grateful just to be alive. That's enough. Whatever bullshit's going on, whatever fucking things are going through, we're alive. That means we still got another day. We still got a couple more hours, even if the day's almost ending. Still, sometimes just I'm alive. That's an accomplishment in and of itself. Again, I started this off just saying everything that happened to me, my baby mama, and then a couple friends, things going on with their mom, and just going to prison, suicide. It's just, man, what a year. What a year. But hopefully these things, these challenges are helping us get closer to who we truly are and how we see ourselves, and hopefully it changes into something beautiful, just like this moon you can see up here. Right? That kind of relationship that we have with ourselves. When you look at the moon, do you see beauty? Or do you see something that you don't like? And if you see something that you don't like, well, why is that? What is it about that you can't see the beauty? You can't see the beauty in yourself. Anyways, day whatever, out.